The following podcast contains some strong language and some very average opinions.
Any references to actual people are wildly inaccurate. It's probably best if you don't listen at all. The Roaring Peacock Podcast.
Welcome back to the Roaring Peacock Podcast. I'm not Adonis, as you can tell. I'm much better looking. And my name's Riot Badger. You can catch me on Twitter at Riot Badger. And joining us today, we have Hannah Brad at Hannah Brad from West Coast Whites.
Hello.
Say hello. Say hello. Be nice. And we've also got Mish Keatman from Marching Out Together.
Hello, hello.
Right, so thanks very much for joining us. Like we say, Adonis isn't with us at the minute, so I am taking on the monologue and everything. So please be nice to me, everybody, but subscribe anyway.
No, that wasn't my plan, was it, Hannah? Was it yours?
All right, it's fair enough. Heckle all you like. That's my last coffee of all this.
But if you walk out, we'll just take it.
Okay. But first, the week began with the Mighty Whites becoming the anvil to the West Ham Hammers, running out 2-0 losers at the London Stadium in London. A stadium so London that supporters sing a verse of "Maybe it's because I'm a Londoner" and deep throat jelly deals while asking people to kindly step in time. That last bit isn't true, but it might as well have been with the way that London curse is going. Helder Costa has joined Patrick Bamford in pre-match knee shaving in hopes of being onside for the foreseeable future. Speaking of VAR, President of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, has said that waiting for VAR decisions adds another layer of adrenaline to the game. He's also gone on record to say that he also finds Crown Green bowling electrifying and that his favourite Star Wars films are the prequels where they have the trade disputes. He's never lost a job in his life, but he believes that while the long wait for a decision on universal credit might leave your family starving and without clothes, it adds a really glorious expectation to the whole experience. The club announced a partnership with Leeds City College to provide a full-time education programme for young women who want to play football at a high level. And this goes a long way to break down a lot of the barriers to sport and moves us a little closer to all Leeds aren't we being an affirmation rather than a genuine question. Kiko Casilla placed a status onto his Instagram in Spanish that roughly translates as, so bear with me with this, it took me a while. "I'm sick of so many snakes in my life. I've had enough. Just me and the kiddies from now on." I hope I speak for the rest of the Peacocks in saying, inbox me, hun. And in non-Leeds related news, victim blamers had a blinder this week as men came out in their droves to criticise women walking alone. Apparently I think they're all from Liverpool or something. And this is a stance as stupid as blaming the aforementioned Costa's knee for being offside. It's prompted us at the Roaring Peacock to modify our "Don't be a racist cunt" campaign again. This time to "Don't be a rapist cunt," and later we'll condense it to "Don't be a cunt." That probably just about covers it. Meghan Markle and her husband, I don't know who his name is, were on the Oprah Winfrey Show talking about life in the royal family, revealing how there were concerns as to the skin tone of their child and how Meghan had to curtsy to her grandmother-in-law even when in private. The nation is splitting their support for the couple, with younger people erring on the side of Harry and Meghan and older people thinking the Queen could easily take Markle one-on-one despite her advanced years. Until Sky buy the pay-per-view rights for that bout, they're both left revelling in the titles they once held, becoming the Manchester United of the Royals. And finally, older person, Piers Morgan, has stormed off the set of Good Morning Britain after having his stance on Harry and Meghan criticised by a colleague. It was pointed out that Piers is only salty because Meghan ghosted him. She's not going to shag you, mate, resulting in him throwing his toys out of the pram and exiting stage left. He's since quit the show altogether, which shows that unlike Tim Vine's one-arm butler, he can dish it out, but he can't take it. And that's everything. That's the monologue. Oh, I got through it without stuttering. Well, thank you very much for joining us. We'll go through the podcast as a normal show. So I'll have a recap of Monday night's game. We didn't have a post-match for various reasons. So we watched it and we're all suffering from it. Have we all recovered yet? So what do you guys think of the game? Got a one word review.
Shit in a nutshell. Yeah. I started off so well, apart from the stupid offside, obviously. Yeah. I don't know why we didn't build on that momentum. Maybe we just it just actually made us worse in a way. I thought, Pat's put the ball in the net, even though the ball went out, and, Tyler scored, and that's it. We're going to build on this. And then it all went shit, basically. West Ham didn't even play that well. We were saying, didn't they?
Momentum totally shifted, I think, after that second goal was disallowed and Patrick just couldn't score. And I think, it's frustrating because we had a majority of the possession. West Ham played shit, but
Yeah.
they finished. That's all it's about, finishing.
Yep.
Yeah. That's the difference, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the
And
difference.
when can we defend
it's-
corners? When?
No, well, we can't.
No.
That's it. It might as well be a shot on goal. Oh, they've got a corner, 1-0. Yeah, I think it's fine margins in it. You know, we were properly peppering them early in the game, and I thought, right, okay, we'll do right well here. I thought, because in the preview, the guy was saying there was going to be 3-1, 4-1. You know, it's going to be an absolute rout and stuff. I thought, well, we're nowhere near that now. But yeah, we just don't take his chances. So.
It just wasn't going to win. You could have had the goal as wide as the corner flags, and we wouldn't have scored. Although Pat, missed his chances, and I know he's kicking himself, I'm sure of it, but we've got to take them when we get them. I thought the substitutions were right. Not that I'm obviously Marcelo, and I trust in the big man, but it just didn't happen. Just didn't happen, and I don't know. It'll come together for Chelsea. That's my thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know why. We play. Well, it's great that we play so well against bigger clubs, but it's just frustrating. Just be consistent.
So I think for me, it's one of them games where you could tell that West Ham were going to score at some point because we'd had that many missed chances. I thought they were going to go ahead at some point, but I always thought we'd bring it back, and we had the players to bring it back. But the longer the game went on, we just couldn't see anything in there. But I think even Rafinha, I thought he's the guy that can bring it around. I don't think he had a great game, really.
No, it's not like him to shoot straight at the keeper. No. 10 times I'd say normally he'd put it to the right, to the left. He'd put it in the place where the keeper can't get it. But
yeah.
And I felt for Melier because I thought, I actually did think before, and I know you're going to say, well, it's easy to say now, but I think he's going to save this. He's just got to save it.
Yeah.
And he did.
Yeah.
But,
awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, if he'd have kept hold of that, I think that would have been as good as a goal for us. I think we'd have gone on from that and properly smashed them. But, we pick ourselves up. We're one win away now, I think, from safety. So
yeah, and maybe one win away from winning in London. Who the fuck knows?
That's it, yeah. So we've got Chelsea next on our pitch and then Fulham, and that's when we'll break his curse. So, yeah. So what would you think of VAR then? So if you could fix it now, if both of you were asked to come up with a solution, what would you do with VAR?
Well, I would go back to the when you're in line, you're onside rule. So stop pissing about with your stupid dotted lines and all of that shit because it doesn't work. And what happened to when you're in line, you're onside anyway. That to me that's one of the biggest things for me because VAR, I know it balances itself out. It's just to me, it's these offsides that seem to be the biggest issue at the minute.
Yeah.
Don't know what you reckon on that one.
I chatted with Mish earlier, and I miss having just it relying on the referee because the referee made the best decision with the tools that he had. And if it was wrong, it was wrong, but it was wrong because he saw it wrong. And now they've brought out this VAR system where they're like, oh, we're going to have to fix, we'll be able to get it right. And they have the tools to get it right. And then their lines are like this. And it's inconsistent every single time. 1 week, it might be onside, and 1 week, it's going to be off. It's just frustrating. And they're like, well, VAR says. It's like, well, why? It's wrong. How could you still be wrong? So I just think they need to establish more consistency with the way that they're scoring it week by week, I guess. And I think the camera angles are always funny.
Yeah.
And the lines are too thick. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, the lines that they use at Stockley Park are thinner, but then they add thicker lines for the broadcast, which just makes us think that they've screwed it over anyway. So, yeah, for me, I think they'd need to go for the Dutch League. I think it was the Dutch League. I might be mixing up European countries, but where they basically add a certain thickness of line, and unless there's daylight between the two lines, it's not offside.
Yeah.
I think I would take that all day long because then that gives you that little margin of error and judgment. So, we've got this until the end of the season. So I think as long as we stay up, then we can then see if they make any changes to the rule, I guess. So.
I think it's working well for when the ref for penalties for the most part. I mean, handball rule drives me nuts, so we're not going into that because we could be here all night. But but then as you said, Hannah, talk about the camera angles. Even then, I know it was last night in the Man City game, and Foden sort of stayed on his feet, and it was like, you know, it was the guy catch him. It's the angles that they just showed were just you just can't get your head around it, really. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
It just seems far too
subjective.
No, it's way too
No, we'll
subjective
probably
for
come back
something
onto
that
it.
was supposed to be answered. So it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, exactly. It needs to be binary, doesn't it? It needs to be a yes or no. It doesn't need to be
Perfect,
Mike Dean with his set square, does it, really? But standout players from Monday night then? Who have we got? Do we reckon out of who's got the glory in Leeds from the 2-0 loss?
Stuart Dallas.
Yeah,
He's so
always got to be.
consistent.
What do
And
you
I
reckon,
think, I
Hannah?
mean, Rafina, he probably didn't have as good as a game as he has had in the past, but every time I watch him and he gets the ball, I'm like, okay, I think he could do something. So he had a couple of good runs, but I don't know. I thought Roberts was taking too many touches, and that kind of in the final third, attacking third for us, just messes everything up. We lose possession. We have to reset. It's just frustrating. It's frustrating to watch when we won't score.
Yeah, I think I put a tweet out and saying that the ideal time to release the ball is the average time that Tyler Roberts releases the ball minus 35 seconds. Because he gets the ball and he just will overrun it, or it'll get lost in his feet, and the pass has gone. And you see the pass about 4 or 5 minutes before he does. I don't know what future he's got at Leeds.
No, he did it against South. He made the right pass against Southampton, but it's not enough. It's not enough times, is it? Like you said.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I thought Alioski had a good game when he came on. I know that obviously there's rumours flying around about him and where he's going next, which is a bit gutting, especially to that particular team. But I did think he played well when he came on, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I thought Llorente as well.
Yeah,
I thought he had a couple of good attacking balls as well. There's one good through ball that started a really good chance, which, you know, if he kicks on, and he's going to be great in there.
Yeah,
so.
I noticed that he seemed to be the player that coming out from the back, apart from obviously Coops, that was looking to make something happen. He wasn't just. Yeah. I think when Strike gets it, or you know, it always goes out wide. It'll go to to Ailing, whatever. But he was looking. He was looking up all the time, like Calvin does. What pass can I make? What over the top ball? What through ball? That's interesting because we haven't had that for a while. So.
No, I guess Ben White was good at that.
Yes.
I think he was good at carrying forward and stuff, but that's kind of who we're trying to replace with both Cock and with Llorente.
I saw a funny tweet where people were saying that you can never say Ben or White. It's always Ben White.
You know what?
No.
You're right.
Ben White.
You can't, can you?
Ben White. That's just his one name. He's got one name like Rafina, Ben White.
Yeah. He's the Brazilian Brighton defender, Ben White. Yeah. That's going to be something that I'm going to catch myself on my speech every single time I say it now. Thanks. You're just wrecking my brain.
As the Twitter queen, you better beware. No. She knows everything that goes on.
Yes, I know she knows everything. My word. Yeah, I said to Hannah that nobody knows my birthday because I don't talk about my birthday. I don't celebrate my birthday. It's a different story altogether. And she went, no, it's this. I went, oh, okay.
Whoa. Freaky.
I need to burn my house down now. Yeah, so she's not only the Twitter queen, she's a stalker.
Correct.
Wow. I'll see if she knows where mine is later.
I'll find it.
Don't tempt it. Do not tempt it. It's not good. But yeah, so that's Monday night's game gone. And then obviously Kiko didn't make the bench, and it was Capriel who was the substitute keeper, which then a coincidence apparently that there was a status on his Instagram saying that he was, you know, I can't remember the full text of it, but it was saying that he's going through difficulty and that he can walk away and things like that. And obviously people have latched onto it thinking it's related to Leeds. He's since come out and said that it's not, but what do you guys think? Do you reckon it's too much of a coincidence?
I mean, with the timing and everything, just not made the bench. And I think it's too much of a coincidence. And the fact that we destroyed him after his last game he started and he let in a lot. He's just not our favorite. I don't even think about the racism.
No. Oh yes, forget that. It's fine. For me, it's really difficult because, like, I think everybody's capable of change. Everybody's capable of improvement. But I've not seen anything like that from Casilla. I've not seen an effort for him to improve his game. If we remove the whole racism charge out of that, which we shouldn't do really, but just take him just on being a player. I've not seen the improvement that's made him. He's not challenged for his place, and on his £1.75 billion a year contract that he's on, is he worth keeping?
Someone said. I didn't see this particular game, although I do get the under-23s sort of come through when they're playing. Not the last game, a couple of games ago, I think he played for the under-23s, and he was playing really well. He was playing pretty good. That's kind of the only thing that I've heard that's positive in that respect. But to not make the bench, although we do hear that Marcelo does support him and does value him and has time for him and stuff. So it's kind of a bit of a conflict, really, isn't it, in that respect?
Yeah. What would you guys do if you had the decision and Kiko Casilla was your second choice keeper? What decision would you make?
By Joe Hart. No. I don't know why. I just don't have time. If there's racism that's been in there, to me, there's a reason for it. The club didn't the club didn't say much about it, but I think it's sometimes there's a fine line between what people say and not. There's this whole thing in Spanish. It's not racist, the language that he used apparently, but there's just a fine line. You just got to be super careful. So I think I would. I would.
It seems like all the lads are on Instagram and Twitter and post when they hang out together and stuff. He seems very disconnected. Like even when he was playing, I feel like he maybe didn't really have the friendships that some of the other players have together, and he's kind of a bit of a bit isolated. So I just don't know if he's meshing well.
No, and you'd expect him to mesh well because he's been here.
What
is this, his third season now?
And he came up with these guys, got promoted to the Premier League, like biggest thing ever to do. So you'd think the relationship would be a bit better. I'd probably get rid of him. Yeah. I saw on the Glorious, one of the stupid Facebook groups that I follow, which I shouldn't follow, but it's so funny. Like you can't not follow it. It's like looking at the sun. You shouldn't do it, but you do it anyways. Somebody was like, oh, so I don't know his name. You said his name, whoever was the backup keeper for our last. Yeah. They're like, why don't we just ship out Casilla and Melier and just keep him? It's like, he's only 19. Like, you don't peak as a goalie until you're like mid to late 20s. Like, what are you talking about? I think it had 2 likes and like 100 comments. I'm like, okay, he's getting destroyed. I won't look at it.
Unless you cast the Sparke where you peak at 34.
I think it's because of the blonde hair.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping for. I'm not at 34 yet, so maybe I'll peak then.
We'll not talk about my age. Thank you.
Announcing to the world that you're a keeper, Hannah. I mean, there's confidence and there's confidence.
No, do not. No Twitter men. None of my DMs. I have enough. No more. Leave me alone. He also said he wants to be at Leeds till he dies.
Yeah, so I got sent this just before we came on air. Let me find it. So apparently the quote is, I go from day to day thinking I'm going to be here for the rest of my life. Now, you could either take that one way or the other, because I read that and thought, I feel like that about my job as well, but not in the same glowing terms. So, yeah. Do you think he's found his place now? Do you reckon where his new spiritual home other than...
I think he really likes it.
Newell's Old Boys?
And I mean, if you didn't like a job and it was public facing, and you went to the same coffee shop all the time and got harassed by people that support the team that you work for or whatever, you'd get over. I think you'd get frustrated and you stop going to the coffee shop and you'd stop walking around and he can make enough money that he can have someone go get his groceries. I think he just likes it. He likes integrating with the people. He talks all the time about how important the city is and the fans are. And to be honest, he hasn't really just like some of the players, they haven't really gotten the full, like he had a decent amount of time where fans were allowed in the ground, but I don't know. The coronavirus the last year is totally, I think, separated the job from the people. And
yeah, agreed. I mean, I think Anna's right. I think he does love people, and he's got time for everyone. And like you said, if you don't like your job,
and he has he has support from the owners, and he's getting the money that he wants, and he's hopefully going to be able to buy some players in the summer to do what he wants, and the players are reacting well to him. That maybe weren't doing great 2 seasons ago. He's been able to work really well with them, and I think there's so many like positives that are going on. He's getting the results for the most part. We're mid-table right now. I know there's a few games left, but to come up and hopefully finish mid-table is outstanding. I said, I hope we finish mid-table, like above 13th. And then, of course, I was a cocky bitch the first couple of weeks. And I was like, oh, we fucking beat Liverpool. We're going to finish top 4. I don't talk like that anymore, but oh, God.
We didn't beat Liverpool, right?
It felt like a win. It felt like a win.
We nearly beat Liverpool is what she meant by that.
That was me. That was me at the 80th minute.
So.
We beat Liverpool.
To be honest, when I think back of it, it feels like we won. It's like until I see the scoreline and thought, we actually lost that. But I remember like going out afterwards and having a few beers and celebrating that we.
So proud. You know, when you just, because we all thought we got the Premier League, Liverpool's our first game. They're the champions, we're the champions, and we just didn't know how it was going to go, and everyone thought as long as we don't get an absolute walloping, it will be all right. Yeah. But we didn't. Not just that, but we came out and we showed them. We really did. And if it wasn't for stupid penalty decisions once again, and Mo Salah, we just held our own against them. That's a setup for the rest of the season. Bielsa ball, the whole thing. We've lost some games, but every single game that we've lost, I feel we've still gone back in that second half and tried to win it. Bexford said it quite succinctly on Twitter about the fact that he thought we could, as we always do, we thought we could still come back and get into it in the second half. And I said we never stop trying, and to which he liked my tweet. I'm well in.
That's always good, isn't it? And welcome to Stats to the Roaring Peacock. Thank you very much for joining us again, mate. So what stats have you got for us this week?
Well, as you're probably well aware, as everyone's cotton on to, it's Marcello's 1,000th day in charge. The first Marcello.
Good lad.
I keep doing it. And he's the first head coach to do that since Simon Grayson back in 2011. Obviously, got sacked in 2012. Chelsea. They haven't done the double over Leeds in the top flight. And I'm going to tempt fate here. So it's 1935-36.
Yeah, but you did say the same thing about
said that against West Ham, didn't I? Yes. And they haven't done the double over Leeds since 88-89, just before Howard Wilson was in charge. Paddy will reach 100 games in a Leeds shirt on Saturday. The 10th player in the squad to do so. And if he does score on Saturday, which I hope he does against one of his former clubs, he'll become the first Leeds player since Mark Viduka in season 2000-2001 to score home and away in the Premier League against Chelsea. And I think, off the top of my head, the only player to do so, to score home and away against Chelsea in the top flight, in the Premier League at least.
Cool. So that's a good bet for me then. Let's see if that works.
Absolutely.
I'm not doing very well on my bets recently, so if
I've stopped betting. I think having the bookies closed has done me a huge favour. Right. So it's worked out quite nice. Because I don't have an online account. I think it's best that way. I'll be throwing money away.
When the fun stops, stop.
Yep. There's your advertisement. How much do they pay for that?
I don't know. They'll probably give me some free bets.
Yeah, more than likely.
Yeah. So any stats from the West Ham game that were interesting, or have we got any sort of insight that should show us that we're safe and we're not going to go down? Please.
I've been trying to look at this, and I know people are getting carried away because Fulham have beaten Liverpool and what have you. Everyone's beating Liverpool at the moment in the Premier League. Touch wood. Hopefully, it was in April. looking at it, it'll take a combination of results that Fulham have to win, 3 or 4 more games than Leeds. Brighton have to win 3 or 4 more games. Brighton play Newcastle next week. We can't both get 3 points. Newcastle's running is horrendous. Brighton's running is horrendous. Mathematically, Leeds probably need 6 points to be absolutely certain of staying in the Premier League. For me, they probably need 3 points. They'll be fine. We're not getting relegated. I say that now on a podcast. If we do, you can blame me.
It's the Phil Hay nailed on thing all over again. Yeah.
Yes, after waiting against Brighton in the playoffs 4 years ago. But yeah, I think we'll be absolutely fine. I can't see how we get sucked into it. We might finish 15th, but to me, as I kept saying, when we got promoted, the aim was to stay in the Premier League. Yeah. And that's what we got in, and you build from there. Look at Burnley, they've been in the Premier League, since the end of the 16-17 season, and keep building. So all you do is that one first season, and then you build from there.
Yeah, I think we'd all take that as well, wouldn't we? We'd all take 15th right now. So, that's good. So anything else that you want to share with us? Or
Yes, looking forward to it. I do a little bit looking forward to it. It's Mother's Day on Sunday. So I have got my mother a nice little present. I don't know if the camera will be able to see this.
Oh, Mum, thank you for always being amazing.
Me and Emma.
Love you lots, Andrew and Emma.
Yes.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yes. So that's an exclusive.
So
it will be wrapped before Sunday. Right. So, Mother, if you're watching.
Yeah, if that's Mum's watching, so your surprise has been spoiled.
Yeah. Yeah, so looking forward to that. And hopefully before, also we'll do it next week, can we please win in London before the end of the season? I'm sick of this London record.
Yeah, it's awful. Awful. So
yes.
Cool. So now you gotta do your catchphrase, mate. Sorry. Cheers, mate. Thanks very much.
Bye.
We'll see you soon.
Cheers.
See
you later. Bye. Bye.
Am I supposed to get my mom nice things
good.
like that? I just get her wine because that's all she wants.
If that's what she wants, that's what she wants. So, I mean, I've got my mum flowers, and she rang me to thank me for them just now, and I'm sure she'd prefer wine, to be quite honest. But
well, I've seen a Leeds United card that I'm hoping my kids get me if they've been thinking enough, and it's one of those ones where it's got the cartoon of Marcelo with his translator by the side of him, and he's saying something nice about, have a fantastic Mother's Day or something like that. So It's well good. I can't get my mum that because she's a Leeds United fan just by the fact that my dad is, but she knows nothing, and I mean nothing about football. Absolutely zip. In fact, she came to watch me play football once, half time, second half starts, and she goes, "Howard, they're going the wrong way." And it just that's pretty much. And then she shouts at goalkeepers for stopping my shots from going in. So, And then my dad's there going, "Michie for England," and it's. Now I live down here and I play for a local Hinkley side, so they haven't seen me play, but which is quite good. But there you go.
Yeah. Just don't tell them where you play. You don't want that embarrassment. It's never good.
Well, nobody can come watch these days, so hopefully we'll get back to grassroots at the end of the month. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, that's good. I'm looking forward to get back in playing because it's been too well. I'm not. I am and I am. If I'm just imagining that I'm fit enough to play, but I'm definitely not.
Well,
lockdown has been hard.
Yes, so. I know what you mean. The only exercise I've had is trip to the fridge.
Yep, same. Yep. Open the bag of Red Leicester mini cheddars. That's the exercise for the week, and that's it. Cool. All right. Okay. So we'll move on to International Women's Week then. So that's partly why we've got you guys on, so we can represent our female fan base, our knowledgeable female fan base as well. And it. I did say to Hannah that we want this knowledgeable female fan base on, but they're all busy, so I'm asking you. Which was very harsh, and I'm really sorry. But to take a serious bit of a tone on the podcast, so we've obviously seen the news, the Sarah Everard case, and what's happened there. For the people who've not probably kept up to the news, this is a young woman that was out visiting a friend at a friend's house and went missing, and then a police officer has been arrested on suspicion of being involved in her going missing, and then that has gone into a murder case. And it's brought up this big online debate with all the people of saying, "Oh well, what was she doing outside? Why was she breaking lockdown?" And it brings up that whole victim blaming thing again. So I'm probably less qualified to talk from that experience, so you guys will be a lot more qualified than I am. What does this sort of lack of progress make you feel like when this comes up again?
For me, it's gutting. It's really gutting that women have to feel that way. That people are saying, "Don't leave the house. Don't go out in the dark. Don't go from one home to another. Don't walk in the dark." And we shouldn't have to feel like that. And I get that why people are saying, "Don't do those things." We should be able to do those things in this day and age. However, there are unfortunately some sick people, and it's even more upsetting that this person was allegedly a police officer that's committed this crime. The people that should be protecting us, that we most trust, and you want to be able to walk out. I've got a daughter. She lives in London. If I was to think about it all day, every day, I'd be like, "Don't you leave the house ever." But I can't. We can't think like that. We can't protect them every day of the week, and it is a gutted thing. And I saw something on Twitter today about a man who had posted that he wanted advice from women about what he could do if he was walking home and there was a woman in front of him, and he wanted to make sure that she felt safe, that he wasn't going to attack her or do anything like that. What can I do? And it kind of opened my eyes, and it was wonderful that he was asking that question. But to be honest, there aren't any clear answers on it, because he can cross, if he's able to cross to the other side of the road. People were suggesting, does he overtake the woman so that she doesn't feel that he's following her? But then that could feel daunting if someone's overtaking you. There isn't a right and wrong answer, and it's absolutely horrendous that I'm sure that the majority of men would never even think about this kind of a crime. But that's how it is, and that's the world we live in. And it's so I don't know how I'm going to ask Anna, because she's in LA, and how is it? How do you feel about it?
Sad. And I think a lot of the responses that I saw where people were I think the easiest thing right now is to victim blame just on anything with COVID. Like when you found out that somebody got COVID, it was like, well, what the fuck were you doing? And it's like people are faceless on Twitter and just feel like they can say whatever the hell they want. So that's like obviously an issue. But on this issue in particular, there's no one answer. Like, I know I would never go outside for a walk by myself in the dark. It's just something that I just would make the decision to not do that. Even if I had to get from point A to point B, I would call someone. I'm not blaming her. I'm just like, this is just what you have to do, just because it's just how life is. And it's
you want to feel safe, don't you?
It's not our fault, and it's not men in general's fault. It's just like, how is there even a solution to this? Because I feel like there's always going to be sick people in the world. So it's just, do you need to just be smarter? I mean, honestly, I've been followed in the middle of the day, like at a grocery store, and like followed out to my car. I've been at a bar watching a Leeds game a few weeks ago, and a dude came up to me and full on grabbed me and like tried to pull me into the like building. Like, it's just what it's sad. It's what happens. Like, there's no, I don't know if it's.
I think there's two things there, isn't there? There is saying, this is the world as it is, and you've got to kind of protect yourself, but the world shouldn't be like that. And I think the problem with the victim blaming stuff that I've seen, the best demonstration of it is, I think somebody from the Greens threatened to bring in a curfew, a 6 p.m. curfew for men in the UK. And everybody's gone, it's not all men, it's not all men. And the whole point of that is that's never going to get put through. But what that should make you think is, why is it such an outrage to ask men to stay in past 6 p.m. when culturally we expect women to stay in and stay, it's dark, you're home and you can't go out. So why is it such an outrage? And that should start the thinking to, maybe there isn't an equality. Maybe we should do this. And maybe we should speak to our young boys and, speak to kids and stuff like that and build up that equality. But I don't think the grey matter of Twitter is big enough to find the subtleties in that reference. But it is a terrible thing to think that. I mean, everybody has fear out at night. Like, guys probably have the fear of violence and stuff like that, but I think it's a lot less than every woman who leaves their house while it's dark has got to think, do I wear headphones? Do I ring ahead? You know, should I take a taxi? Should I do this? And that's not something that goes through a guy's brain at all. So
yeah, should I carry a mace spray? Yeah, how do I?
Yeah.
Should I get involved and take self-defense classes, because that way I can defend? It's horrendous to have to think like that.
Very sad.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, it just shows we haven't really come so far in probably 10, 20 years. You know,
and this, I mean,
so
sorry. The scariest thing is like, okay,
sorry, go on.
I don't know a lot about the details of this case, but if the cop was like in uniform in a police car, you know, you expect to be safe in that instance. Like if a police officer pulls up to you, so it's it's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, position of trust, isn't it, really? I mean, I don't think he was. I think he was in some sort of special unit. I don't know, I'm pretending now. I have read it, but pressure to remember. But yeah, either way, I think there's a position of trust that has just been totally betrayed either way.
Yeah,
so.
I think this is why it's more gutting than, I mean, there's many incidents like this that happen that we know of, but this particular one, because it was a member of the police force, is making it even harder to get your head round. And for the police themselves as well, they're in shock, you know, the police force themselves, because it's one of their own. It makes it even, I don't know, a million times worse than it was in the first place.
I just wish we could get to a place where we weren't victim blaming and being dicks on Twitter. Like I get we can be dicks about football, but I just think there's certain topics I just don't understand how the type of shit that comes out of people's mouths or thumbs.
No, it does seem that there's a want to find the chink in the armor of the story and be different. And I'm the tall poppy. Look at me with my opinion, and that's what I've just seen today. And it's disgusting. There's somebody's life at the end of this, and all your question is, well, it's locked down. Why wasn't she inside watching Netflix like the rest of us?
That's the disconnect, I think, at the end of the day. Like, I think the solution is men and women realizing that it is other people. Like, it's not just a topic. It's not just a debate point. It's like, this was a woman's life. And there's women that you know directly that go through similar instances that have been attacked or have been followed before or are scared. So we need to do a better job at putting a face on these things and realizing the severity of them. And it's very disconnected.
Yeah. Yeah, I think much like racism, where it's not good enough to not be racist, you've got to be anti-racist. I think it's the same with this as well. And I was really pleased to see in one of the WhatsApp groups that I'm in that organises the five-a-side football. So it's a group of lads, and you expect laddish humour. And one guy put a really ill-advised image that kind of linked domestic violence to Liverpool. You've probably seen it. Somebody's already shared it. Wow. And to a man, everybody called it out and said, "This isn't funny. You know, this is really, really shit. Why would you even find this funny?" And he ended up deleting it, apologising, which that is a very glacial and small move from that's funny to actually calling it out. So it's really good to see that, you know, we are seeing them sorts of moves. Maybe I just associate it with half decent people, but there's some Liverpool fans in there, so probably not. Yeah, no, that's good. I mean, it's interesting that you mentioned about the tactics of not being intimidated while out on the street. I mean, that's come into my head quite a lot while I've been running. I don't run so much now because lockdown is like pizza. So I've found when I've been running, I've been behind a woman running. It's like I've had to bust a gut to get past because I don't want to spoil her run. Because I'm thinking if I look behind me and saw somebody intimidating, I don't think I'm intimidating, but I might look intimidating to others. I wouldn't want to spoil their exercise, so I've busted a gut to get past and, you know, try to do that. That's the only thing that I can think to do.
I bet you were busting a gut as well, because I bet she was well faster than you.
Yeah. Everybody's faster than me. And it definitely wasn't a show off.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it. That's
KFC down the road. Yeah.
Oh, no, I don't run to that going car. But yeah, no, that's it's just good to call out and just get your guys' opinion on it. So that's really good. So we'll probably go on to football matters again and bring that back up. So some good news. Harry Kewell has been sacked by Oldham.
I did hear
so
that.
How do we feel about that? Do we feel sorry for him? Is there any sort of sympathy we have?
I'm just a softie at heart, and I know all of obviously what happened at the time, and yeah, left under a big old dark cloud. But I don't know. I've got a soft spot for the man, so I feel for him in that respect. But the other part of me that doesn't is going. So you know, yeah, we balanced it out.
Yeah, what do you reckon spoilt his legacy more? The way that he left or the fact that he joined Galatasaray? Do you reckon?
Good question, I guess. Maybe it's just a bit of both. How are we going to feel if Alioski joins Galatasaray? I mean, that's, you know,
I don't think
that's
another
question as well.
I feel like Alioski is going to be forgotten, which is sad. But Kewell was like a legend.
Hero.
That and the timeliness of it, like it was way closer to the events that happened.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, the debate has been that Kewell was around when Chris and Kevin lost their lives, and that made it all the more painful that he went to join them. And therefore, it doesn't make it as impactful if Alioski goes. But for me, I still wouldn't want him to go to Galatasaray. Yeah. I'd rather him go to any club, barring probably those that play in red. And I'd be happy, you know, I won't want him to sully the legend of him being part of that team that got us promoted. That's the thing for me. I think if he goes to Galatasaray, it sours it for me. We'll see. Harry Kewell has been accused by the owner of Oldham of destroying the club's legacy. So he's done well. Yeah. He's had a
good work, Harry.
Okay, so I think last thing to cover then is looking forward to Chelsea then. So it's Tuchel's first visit to Ellen Road. We've got our pitch to deal with. It looks like it's growing potatoes currently. But the good news there is Robin Koch's back in training. He's going to play an under-23s game, so might feature, maybe. What do we reckon to that game? Are we worried?
We show up. I think we'll show up.
I don't know.
And I think Berardi's going to be on the bench, so maybe he can come in and break some ribs.
Oh, man. Premier League gets out of Berardi.
And wear long studs, that's all I'm saying. Rink. All of you. Get your rugby studs in from the start, Patrick.
Yeah, I got sent a video on WhatsApp, and I don't know if it's supposed to be shared along, but I did share it, of the pitch, and it's in a very, very bad state. It looks a lot worse than it does on the TV. Basically, it's like my hair. It's just non-existent anymore. Just mud.
Oof.
I didn't know where that was going then for a second. Is he going to get his hair out and it's got caked in mud or something? I didn't quite.
Basically, it used to be quite a lush playing surface, and it's not anymore.
Respect. Yeah.
So yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, so I want to feel hopeful about the Chelsea game. I'm always an optimist. Well, I say I'm always an optimist. Sometimes I'm pessimistic about my optimism. But I don't know. I just feel like we haven't sort of switched it on for a couple of games, and I think that Bielsa will be, on the backs, and maybe we'll put Rodrigo in start. I don't know. Maybe he'll start ahead of Click.
He looks exhausted.
Click didn't have a good game on
last game.
Yeah, he does. Do you know, Click has been terrible since he signed that canvas.
Burn it.
Is that what it is?
Take it back. Take it back.
I think it's. I might have to do some sort of like voodoo or something.
Didn't he have one game where he came off the bench because he had to, because I can't remember who got injured. Maybe it was Rodrigo when he got injured, but he came off the bench and had a good game. But since then he's lost his shooting boots, and I don't know. Maybe when he came off the bench, he played well because he was trying to prove that he deserved.
I think
his
we
place.
had a good point when we talked a couple of days ago that this sounds silly, but this is the first season for a couple of these guys in the first couple of seasons where we're not fighting for promotion. We're not exactly fighting against relegation. Like we are, but we're not exactly like we're mid-table still. I think we'll be all right. So it's like, are they just kind of chilling? Like, are they not really like, I feel like there isn't really a fire under some of them. Like, they're
Incentive.
Just like, all right, back to work. And I think it's been tough with the injuries and defense, like all season. I mean, Streak just full on didn't make the bench at all when he'd been starting. So I think it's hard for a team to have a different back four every time. especially when the way that we play, there's a lot of instances when we're playing out of the back. So if it's different players with different midfielders, and every team goes through injuries, but we haven't had consistency in our lineups at all. So it's just.
No.
I think Stroke was injured,
Oh,
wasn't
he
he?
was?
That's what I heard,
Yeah.
that he didn't make the squad.
But,
yeah.
Yeah, I think it was, yeah. But yeah, it's a difficult thing because I think also the expectation from the fan base as well, because we've come from being a fan base that top two was the bare minimum, and anything less than top two, and it was a crap season, like we might as well have been relegated. So we've kind of still got a hangover from the championship expectations, like 15th isn't good enough.
Yeah.
When really it's absolutely fine. Just chill. And we'll buy some more players next year. We might finish 11th, and then buy some more. We might finish 6th, and we'll get into Europe.
They almost got relegated last season, and now they're bloody 5th.
Well, they have to do what Leicester does. Remember, I'm married to a Leicester fan, and after the third season of after promotion, and they won the league. So, it's anything.
We're having that
possible after
American money's
That's
coming
what I
in.
believe.
By DePaul, so I can stare at him.
Oh yeah, because we did this the other night, and it was obviously. Could we talk about LL Cool J and why he's getting free shirts? Because
and why aren't we?
And why aren't we? This is our plea for to all the guys, the chair, everybody. Obviously, LL Cool J can afford whatever he wants to buy. If he wants to buy Leeds shirts with his name on the back, all of them. And also a plea to maybe get a ladies' cut in the away shirts as well. Just for the female figure. Thank you very much, because the home shirt fits, as you can see, quite nicely.
I
leave a lot.
He's in it.
Yeah,
it's so weird that the shirts have got different fits, isn't it?
Yeah, look like I'm wearing trash bags, but it's fine.
That's just me.
No, you literally wear trash bags.
Okay. So, and on that bombshell, we'll bring it to a close. So thanks guys for joining us. If you want to check back with us, we will have the youth podcast on your favourite podcast player. We'll be back with a preview of the Chelsea game with a bit more in-depth worrying and foreboding and foreshadowing. And we'll be back next week with the main cast. So thanks very much for joining us. Leeds.
Most of our stats come from LUFC Stats or LUFC Data on Twitter. A very special thanks to Barney Stewart, Cook, Ewan and Howard Metcalf, Josh Pearson, Laura, Leon and Rob, The Light Show, and all our family and friends.
So many games to play, don't care what's on your mind.